Moving forward, I request to call the Governor of New Guinea, Honorable Sasindran Muthwal MP, sir, to share his wishes with us.
Good day to everyone. அனைவருக்கும் எனது மதிய வணக்கங்கள். Let me quickly acknowledge the presence of Honorable Chief Minister of Pondicherry and the Honorable Speaker, the Chief Guest Guyana Prime Minister, and also the ministers from Mauritius, and also the President, Acting President, and all the delegates who have come here to attend the 5th World Tamil Economic Conference. I'm from a Pacific nation called Papua New Guinea. I'm not sure how many of you heard this name PNG, Papua New Guinea. We are the largest in Pacific Island out of the 15 countries. We are the largest in terms of land mass. It has 674,000 square kilometer of land mass, and also huge maritime in nature, and also over 10 million population. Like you all know Fiji because of Indian population. And I'm proud to tell you that நான் பிறந்தது வளர்ந்தது எல்லாமே தமிழ்நாடு. என்னோட சொந்த ஊர் சிவகாசி. Sorry, with due respect to some foreigners, they can't understand. I was born and brought up in Tamil Nadu. My native is Sivagasi, and my wife is from Tirunelveli, and I moved into PNG 20 years ago. And I am proud to be Tamilian in origin, to represent my people of West New Britain province. It's a province equal to any state in India in terms of land mass, though not in population. But it's a land of more than 2,000 tribes. Like India, it has more than 834 languages. And for the last 10 years, we enjoy the political stability, which attracts a lot of investments. And it is quite a liberal country. You can imagine a person of Indian origin can become a member of parliament and to become a governor of a province. Then you could imagine the openness of our people from Papua New Guinea. And also I'm proud to tell you that Papua New Guinea is hosting APEC conference for this year, which will be attended by 21 powerful economies, which includes United States, Russia, and Canada, and many other, Singapore, Malaysia. Asia Pacific Economic Forum. Unfortunately, India belongs to SAARC countries, and we are hosting between November 14th to the November 18th, and we would expect even with all the presidents of all those 21 nations to come. In fact, the Chinese president is staying there for almost 4 days, which never heard of. So you could see the interest. And also we have established a long-lasting relationship with India through this FIPIC summit, like it's a forum of India Pacific Island countries. And we thank sincerely the government of India for their support to all our island nations within the Pacific region. And we also, Papua New Guinea, like India, has all the resources, natural resources. We have oil and gas. We have also various minings, starting from gold, copper, silver, molybdenum. And we also have a huge agriculture potential, where I'm proud to be a governor for a province which has almost 80,000 hectares of planted oil palm. And all of our oil gets exported to Europe and enjoys a premium price, as it has a quality standard for oil palm called RSPO standard. Papua New Guinea is a beautiful country for investments, and there are lots and lots of people from all walks of life, starting almost all Asian countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and China, and many other people have invested. In fact, that LNG project is a $19 billion investment by ExxonMobil. And we have another huge 2 major LNG projects is also coming in the near future. So it's a great country for investment, and also for Indian companies to explore. Of course, things won't work out. You just make one trip and then expecting things to fall. But I can give you all the information about investment opportunities and potentials, and I can give you the contact names, our investment promotion authority information, so you could explore it. Without taking much time, it's a privilege and honor to represent my country, Papua New Guinea, to attend this World Tamil Economic Conference, and I wish all the success for this conference. Thank you. God bless all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sasindran sir. So, அவருடைய பேச்சில் இருந்து நான் கணிச்ச ஒரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா, West New Britain province அப்படிங்கிறது நம்ம சொல்லக்கூடிய அதாவது ஸ்டேட் ஒரு முதலமைச்சருடைய ஸ்தானம் எப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு உயர்வான ஒரு ஸ்தானமோ அதுக்கு ஈக்குவலண்டா தான் அவருடைய பதவியும் இருக்கு. ஸோ இன் ஸ்பைட் ஆஃப் யுவர் பிஸி ஸ்கெட்யூல் நீங்க வந்து உங்க பிறந்த ஊருக்கு பெருமை சேர்க்கிற மாதிரி உங்களுடைய பேச்சின் சரவடி மாதிரி படப்பட பட்டாசு மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. ரொம்ப நன்றி சார், அருமையான பேச்சு. அடுத்தபடியாக நான் கூப்பிடக்கூடிய சிறப்பு அழைப்பாளரை பற்றி சில விஷயங்கள் சொல்லணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். He is one of the young ministers in Mauritius government, well disciplined and discerned order of thoughts. He is outcoming as international leader for Tamil community. He is none other than Honorable Minister of Technology, Communication and Innovation Mauritius, Mr. Yogita Swaminathan sir. So I request you to deliver the special address for us, sir. Thank you so much for coming.
நன்றி. பெரியோர்களே, தாய்மார்களே, எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். Mr. Dr. Sampath, the President of the Madras Development Society, His Excellency Honorable Narayana Sami, the Chief Minister of Pondicherry, His Excellency Mr. Moses Virasamy Nagamutu, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, His Excellency Paramasivam Pillai Vayapuri, the Acting President of the Republic of Mauritius, all protocol observers, all delegates, it gives me a great pleasure to be here among you this morning. After my intervention 2 years back at the same forum as Minister of Youth and Sport, I am personally proud to intervene this time as the Minister of Technology, Communication and Innovation of the Republic of Mauritius. This ministry was held by the Prime Minister himself, and when he was sworn in, he passed on that ministry to me. So it's a great honor for me now to be assuming the responsibility of the Minister of Technology. I would like also to thank all the organizers of this conference, especially Dr. Sampath, who is giving all his efforts to bring the whole Tamil community worldwide into one country. Last time it was in Chennai, it was in Durban, now in Pondicherry. I think we should give him a big round of applause for his efforts. I wish to say that Pondicherry has got a special place in my heart. It was from here that my ancestors left in 1729 to migrate to Mauritius. The first Tamil had settled in the island 4 years before, in 1725. So that makes lots of years, lots of generations now living in Mauritius. And nowadays the Tamil community in Mauritius is about 7 to 8%, and we have a very vibrant community. It is important to know our roots. This is why I make it a must every year to pay a visit to Tamil Nadu, so that I can come back to my roots, visit all the temples, and also to learn from the culture. In Mauritius, the culture, the Tamil culture is really vibrant, it's going. Because the laws in 2003, the Tamil Cultural Center Trust under the Ministry of Culture was set up. That was, the purpose of that trust was mainly to keep the culture alive. Because without knowing our roots, without keeping our culture alive, everything will die after that. This is why the government of Mauritius made it a must that all the communities living in Mauritius should have their own cultural center trust, so as to promote culture, to promote the language, and so that the younger generation should know where do they come from. Because without knowing where do you come from, without knowing your roots, you are lost. So this is why now we have the Tamil Cultural Center Trust is operating, and this is why now we want collaboration. The Tamil community has been scattered all over the world, and we've made progress everywhere. In Mauritius, it's clear we have the acting president who is from the Tamil community. I'm the only minister in the government which is from the Tamil community. We have His Excellency Nagamutu, the Prime Minister of Guyana. I think we are proud. When we go to Singapore, when we go to Malaysia, in any country in the world, in Australia, wherever the Tamil community has settled, we should be proud of them. And now Mr. Sampath is putting all his efforts to bring everyone together. Now just imagine the whole of the community grouping themselves together, what power, what type of force will that bring to the community? I think Mr. Sampat is doing a great job, and we should encourage him, and we should give him all the support to continue in this endeavor. I think he's been God sent to do that job, and I think we should be thankful to him. Now I will go back. I won't be long because I know that we had some delay. But later on, tomorrow I'll be speaking on my ministry itself. But just to give you an overview of Mauritius, Mauritius first started as a monocrop industry, which was agricultural land. Then we shifted to the tourism industry, we shifted to the textile industry. Now we are more into the IT industry. So the IT industry is the third pillar of the economy today. We all started in 2003. In 2003, we started the IT industry. Today is the third pillar of the economy, contributing 5.6% of the GDP. And the first cyber tower was built in 2003. And last 2 weeks back, when we were celebrating our 50th anniversary of independence, that building was named Atal Bihari Vajpayee in memory of the former Prime Minister of India. Because India and Mauritius, we got strong roots together. Promoting the innovation sector, this is the ministry that I'm responsible of. And we are giving 8-year tax holidays for new startups, for new companies who are willing to come and invest in Mauritius in the IT industry. So I think now the floor is open for all the investors who are willing to come into Mauritius, and also we are positioning Mauritius as the gateway to Africa. As you all know, Mauritius, we speak both language, English and French. This is why Pondicherry also, which is also the French part of it. But I think now Mauritius is the place to come, the place to settle, and the place to invest, and the place to enjoy nice holidays as well. I think I won't be long, so I will thank Dr. Sampat for this endeavor, and also for all those who took time to come to this conference. Even myself, I only confirm on Monday, because today's cabinet meeting is sitting in Mauritius every Friday, and we have parliament every Tuesday, and it was very tight for me to be here. But as a member of the Tamil community, which I'm proud to be part of, I think it was a must for me to be among you today. So thank you very much. Nandri Vanakkam.
I thank Honorable Yogidas Swaminathan sir for giving a valuable speech for us. உங்களுக்கு எங்களுடைய நன்றிகள். அடுத்தபடியாக அடுத்த சிறப்பழைப்பாளரை பற்றி சில விஷயங்கள் கூற வேண்டும் என்றால், he started his career as a teacher, which is considered to be a noble profession. Due to his endurance and interest in community services, he has been elevated to Vice President of Mauritius, and now he is the acting President of Mauritius. The Tamil community in Mauritius is proud to have His Excellency, the acting President of Mauritius, Paramasivan Pillai Bayapuri sir, to deliver the keynote address.
Your Excellency, Honorable Narayana Swamy, Chief Minister of Pondicherry, Your Excellency, Mr. Moses Virasamy Nagamutu, Prime Minister of Guyana, Honorable Yogidas Swaminathan, Minister of Technology, Communication and Innovation, Mauritius, Dr. Sampat, President, Madras Development Society. என் அன்புள்ள சகோதர சகோதரிகளே வணக்கம். உங்களுடன் இருப்பதில் எனக்கு ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சி. அகர முதல எழுத்தெல்லாம் ஆதி பகவன் முதற்றே உலகு. It is always a great honor and a pleasure for me to be present at a gathering with brothers and sisters who share a common heritage, a common ancestry, genetic, cultural, religious, that is, the Tamil civilization. I am myself a full-blooded Tamilian, the 5th generation of ancestors who emigrated from Tamil Nadu to Mauritius during the French colonial days. And this is the 3rd year in a row that I attend the World Tamils Economic Conference invited by Dr. Sampath, Chairman of the Madras Development Society. I was indeed present at the third conference in Chennai that was also attended by Sri Moses Virasamy Nagamutu, Prime Minister of Guyana. It is a great honor and privilege to have you with us again this year, sir. Your country has great potential for economic development, and we all look forward to closer collaboration with British Guyana for various bilateral and multilateral exchanges in the years ahead. The third conference that I attended here in Chennai was very successfully organized. I attended the fourth conference in Durban with Brother Logi Naidu as the convener. That conference too was very well organized and was a great success. Already a number of projects are underway between South African businessmen and Mauritian counterparts following that conference. Here I am again with you at this fifth World Tamils Economic Conference and first Global Economic Summit here in Pondicherry. My first visit to Pondicherry was in 1983, nearly 35 years ago. That visit was following the year 1982, when in Mauritius, like in many places in the world, we celebrated the 100th anniversary, the birth anniversary of Poet Laureate Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati. I was the secretary of the organizing committee, and that gave me an opportunity to learn and admire the greatness of the Indian patriot Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati. The year after, when I came to India as a tourist, I made it a point to visit the birthplace of Bharati in Pondicherry. And as we gather here in the Union Territory, where both Bharati and Sri Aurobindo found safety when they were persecuted by the British colonial power for their songs of freedom, which stirred up the people of Tamil Nadu and India, we can let ourselves be inspired by their ideals of man's perfection and international brotherhood. I must thank the organizers, in particular the World Tamils Economic Foundation, under the able leadership of Dr. Sampath, who rightly deserves a big round of applause for all his efforts to bring us together. He is constantly making lots of efforts to ensure that the thread that binds us together remains intact and providing a platform for it to grow even stronger by reinforcing the ties among the diaspora. In the midst of our own Tamil diaspora, we have precursors in the fields of science and technology, C.V. Raman and Subramanya Chandrasekhar are Nobel Prize winners in physics and chemistry, respectively. Further down south from Pondicherry is Kumbakonam, the birthplace of Srinivasa Ramanujan, the mathematics genius. This is the man who, they say, knew infinity. Back in Mauritius, I have the honor to be the honorary chairman of the Srinivasa Ramanujan Trust, which every year organizes a memorial lecture on Ramanujan by a renowned scholar and a mathematics competition among university students. We know how the mathematical formulae of Ramanujan have only recently been deciphered, understood, and are applied to explain such phenomena in astronomy as black holes. In modern times, it is a matter of pride for the Tamil community that Sundar Pichai is leading one of the world's leading technological companies, employing over 85,000 people. Another great development that will take the Tamil language and culture forward is the institution of the Tamil chair at Harvard. And I am certain that the Tamil diaspora worldwide has all the attributes to make the world of the future a better one. This is the pledge that we collectively take at this 5th World Conference and 1st World Summit. We belong to a great civilization which in the distant past was a prosperous nation counting in its midst explorers, inventors, and astronomers. Our ancestors believed in the universal brotherhood of man when they profess Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir. The world is one and all men are our kith and kin. They have bequeathed also to us the most potent human relationship, that of love, because our religion is based on Anbe Shivam, love is God. So this civilization has suffered the influence of violent invasions and has for centuries been subdued. It is now our bounden duty to regain that ancient glory, and we have what it takes to achieve it. We need to be at the forefront of innovation and aspire to become leaders of that new innovation-led growth model where our wits will be as much required as our skills. Thus, the members of our community worldwide are rising to the challenge of the growing needs of this new world, with our strength founded on the values of hard work and discipline that our ancestors have strived to inculcate in successive generations. And we are bearing the fruits today, and that give the Tamils the recognition that they deserve. As we embark on this 5th conference, it is important that we assess the extent to which the aims and objectives set out at the start have been met. The first objective of promoting dialogue among Tamils, Indian brothers and sisters, with the Indian international community, business leaders and professionals worldwide to create close cooperation and partnership for economic development is being beautifully met by the very fact that we have been meeting for the 5th time, and each time the turnout attendance has been quite high. A number of business initiatives are already in progress. I am happy to inform that over the last 2 years there have been a number of exchanges between business people and professionals between Mauritius and Tamil Nadu, South Africa, Malaysia, and London. South African Tamil businessmen are very much interested to invest in Mauritius, especially in the hotel industry and in real estate. The Forum for Entrepreneurs, business leaders, professionals, and the youth have been set up with more and more experience, and enough ground will be covered to empower us to go to a higher level of bringing policymakers, government officials, community leaders, ministers, and heads of government to take concrete actions for development, poverty alleviation, and better living, leading to peace and harmony among men. Mauritius is a place where you are all invited to come and establish your business. We offer a number of advantages like political stability, security, investment protection. This is what Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, said about Mauritius when he last visited our country. Mauritius is regarded as the most competitive economy in sub-Saharan Africa, Its economic policies on growth, employment, and its strong social welfare system are models for others. These initiatives have contributed to help Mauritius become an upper middle income economy. Mauritius scooped the title of the best country to do business in Africa by the World Bank Doing Business 2016 report. Mauritius has, among others, the following positive factors to serve as encouragement for investors. It has an impressive track record, as I said, political stability, and more than 3 decades of sustained economic growth. We have the freest and most business-friendly country in Africa. Secure investment location with established rule of law, bilingual and skilled workforce, English and French, state-of-the-art infrastructure, preferential market access to Africa, Europe, and the USA. Mauritius can represent for Indian companies an important platform for them to reach out to the African market. Not only Mauritius is an international financial center with a network of double taxation agreements with a number of African countries, it has also signed numerous investment promotion and protection agreements. Furthermore, Mauritius is itself part of Africa, being a member of the African Union, the SADC, and the COMESA. Mauritius also has a bilingual population, as I said. But not least, we have a people in Mauritius who have an extensive knowledge of the continent, who have had the experience of investing in Africa, trading with Africa, and dealing with Africa. We also have people with networks in Africa, be it with the business community or with political circles. Africa is an expanding market with lots of opportunities. It has major investment requirements in the fields of infrastructure, energy, water, mining, and also in sectors such as telecommunications, pharmaceuticals, consumer goods, and transport. But it is a continent with 50 countries and not one country. Doing business in Africa has risks and also great rewards. And it is important for someone doing business in Africa to fully understand the dynamics of the country and with whom to deal with. This is where Mauritius can be useful for them, as we have the right people who can assist. Mauritius is currently further diversifying its economic base with new pillars such as the ocean economy. Mauritius has a very vast area of exclusive marine economic zone, yet untapped. We have the film industry. Mauritius has a lot to offer to the filmmaking industry. Its great weather, a variety of natural and rural locations, as well as attractive film-producing incentives. We are developing Mauritius as an education hub for the region. China is today the #1 foreign investor in Africa and has been active in major infrastructure projects and trade deals. Indian companies have lagged behind, but the opportunities in Africa are still there, and using Mauritius would be an advantage for them to tap those opportunities. It is my utmost belief that more than ever we have a role to play in this world where the pace of change is accelerating to unprecedented levels. Let me conclude, brothers and sisters, by reiterating my thanks and congratulations to Dr. Sampath and his associates for successfully organizing this 5th World Tamil Economic Conference and World Tamil Summit. Lots of thanks and appreciation to His Excellency Honorable Narayana Swamy, Chief Minister of Pondicherry, for hosting the conference. I also thank all of you, delegates, for attending the conference, and I express the wish that very successful economic ventures will be proposed and implemented as a follow-up of this conference. Thank you all for your attention. Varga Tamil Mori, Varga Tamil Makkal, Nandri, Vanakkam.
I take this opportunity to thank the acting president of Mauritius, His Excellency Parmasivan Pillai Vayapuri, for giving a beautiful keynote address for the conference. Thank you so much, sir. அடுத்தபடியாக நம்மளோட இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸை சிறப்பிக்க புதுச்சேரியின் தலைமை செயலாளர் மரியாதைக்குரிய திரு அஸ்வினி குமார் ஐஏஎஸ் அவர்கள் வந்திருக்காரு. I will call the IAS of Pondicherry Chief Secretary திரு அஸ்வினி குமார் to give away his short and speech for us.
Vanakkam, Honorable Chief Minister Pondicherry V. Narayanaswamy ji, His Excellency Moses Veeraswamy ji, His Excellency Parmasivan Pillai ji, Honorable Minister Shahjahan ji, Honorable Member of Parliament S. Langovin ji, the other dignitaries on dais, ladies and gentlemen. India used to control roughly 1/3 of GDP not long in the past, about 200 years back in Mughal times. Prior to that, we all know in the history, the Chola Empire and its capacity to trade, the naval power and all is legendary. And we have even symbols even today, far and wide, in this regard. Now, after Industrial Revolution, somehow India's status in the world economy has shrinked. Now it is very minimal, but then there is the opportunity now to take advantage of our demographic structure that we have. We have huge manpower, young brains, and if we educate them, not just literacy but higher education, I think we can again command our place in the history. The Pondicherry has been in fact window for trading for a long time. The French connection is essentially the connection which starts with the trading. It is a place which has a kind of a more open kind of a society, all-inclusive society. Law and order is very good. We have a lot of higher educational institution, medical colleges. So this intellectual depth that is available in Pondicherry and other entire southern India can really be utilized to become a very happening place. This is basically exciting times we are living in. Next 10 or 15 years from now, India could very easily become second largest economy. And again, based on the young brains, it is not a rocket science that if the brains are, the people are young, the population is young, its contribution can be enormous. As they say that most of research that takes place before person reaches 40 years age. So this is a mammoth asset that we have. We have to recognize it, and the diaspora, it can really contribute a lot. Many thanks to Dr. Sampath, who has brought people far and wide to this place, and I hope that such interactions, such congresses will continue, so that we help each other, we build on each other's energy, and take our country and our society forward. Thank you. Nandri.
I thank the Chief Secretary for his wonderful speech. So, அடுத்த சிறப்பு அழைப்பாளரை கூப்பிடுவதற்கு முன்பு 2 முக்கியமான அறிவிப்பு. So, நம்மளுடைய இந்த மாநாட்டினை சிறப்பிக்க வந்துள்ள புதுச்சேரியின் சீஃப் செக்ரட்டரி மரியாதைக்குரிய திரு அஸ்வினி குமார் ஐஏஎஸ் அவர்களை கௌரவிக்க திரு சம்பத் குமார் அவர்களை அழைக்கின்றேன். Thank you so much for coming and gracing the conference, sir. So please. Huge applause for him. Thank you, sir. அடுத்த கெஸ்ட் கூப்பிடுறதுக்கு முன்பு ரெண்டு முக்கியமான அறிவிப்பு. நம்மளோட கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் லேட்டா நம்ம ஆரம்பிச்சனால முதல் செஷன் 11:45 நம்ம ஆரம்பிக்க வேண்டியது. அதை நாங்க ஈவினிங் 6 o'clock பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஸோ த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செஷன் வில் ஹேப்பன் at 6 o'clock in the evening. அண்ட் இரண்டாவது செஷன் 2 மணிக்கு நம்ம ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கணும். கொஞ்சம் தாமதம் ஆனனால அந்த இரண்டாவது செஷனை நம்ம 2:30 மணிக்கு ஆரம்பிக்க போறோம். ஸோ அதுக்கு நடுவில் லஞ்ச் பிரேக் இருக்கு. அதோட இன்னொரு முக்கியமான அறிவிப்பு, இங்க இருக்கக்கூடிய டெலிகேட்ஸ் உங்கள யாரெல்லாம் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணலையோ, யாரெல்லாம் பே பண்ணி ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணலையோ, லஞ்ச் பிரேக்ல உங்களுக்கு அந்த டைம் இருக்கு. ஸோ ப்ளீஸ் இஃப் யூ கேன் ரெஜிஸ்டர், இட் வில் பி a great contribution for us to start the session. Thank you so much. ஸோ அடுத்த கெஸ்ட்டை பற்றி சொல்லணும்னா, he is man of simplicity, man of genuinity. அவரை பார்த்து வியந்து போகாதவங்க யாருமே இருக்க முடியாது. அவரா இவர் அப்படின்ற அந்த ஒரு ஆச்சரியம் எல்லாருக்குமே இருக்கும். அவர் யார் அப்படிங்கறத நிச்சயமா நீங்க கணிச்சிருப்பீங்க. He is none other than the Chief Minister of Pondicherry, Honorable V. Narayanasamy sir. சார் எங்களுக்காக ஒரு சில வார்த்தைகள். அதற்கு முன்பு டாக்டர் சம்பத் அவர்களை நமது புதுச்சேரி முதலமைச்சர் திரு நாராயணசாமி அவர்களை கௌரவிக்குமாறு கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். He has accepted our invitation and he has come all the way to preside over the conference. ரொம்ப நன்றி சார். இப்போ எங்களுக்காக உங்களோட பேச்சு.
உலக தமிழர் பொருளாதார நிறுவன சென்னை வளர்ச்சிக் கழகத்தின் சார்பாக புதுச்சேரியில் தமிழகமும் இணைந்து 5வது உலக பொருளாதார உச்சி மாநாடு மிக சிறப்பான முறையில் நடந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இந்த மாநாட்டிற்கு வருகை தந்து நம்ம எல்லாம் கௌரவித்திருக்கின்ற மாண்புமிகு கயானா நாட்டினுடைய பிரதமர் மேதகு மோசஸ் வீராசாமி நாகமுத்து அவர்களே, இங்கே நம்முடைய சிறப்பு விருந்தினராக கலந்து கொண்டு நம்மை கௌரவித்திருக்கின்ற மொரீஷியஸ் நாட்டினுடைய குடியரசுத் தலைவர் மாண்புமிகு பரமசிவம் பிள்ளை வையாபுரி அவர்களே, மாண்புமிகு எங்களுடைய புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்தினுடைய தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் ஷாஜகான் அவர்களே, மாண்புமிகு மொரீஷியஸ் நாட்டினுடைய தொலைத்தொடர்புத்துறை அமைச்சர் திரு யோகிநாத் சாமிநாதன் அவர்களே, என்னுடைய அருமை நண்பர், பாராளுமன்றத்தில் என்னோடு பணிபுரிந்து இப்போது நான் பாராளுமன்றத்தில் இல்லை என்றாலும் எங்களுக்காக குரல் கொடுத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கின்ற மாண்புமிகு பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர் இளங்கோவன் அவர்களே, மாண்புமிகு கினியா நாட்டினுடைய ஆளுநர் சசீந்திரன் முத்துவேல் அவர்களே, மரியாதைக்குரிய என்னுடைய அருமை நண்பர் மலேசிய நாட்டிலிருந்து வந்திருக்கின்ற மலேசிய இந்திய வர்த்தக சபையினுடைய தலைவர் கெனத் ஈஸ்வரன் அவர்களே, சிங்கப்பூரிலிருந்து வந்திருக்கின்ற மாண்புமிகு பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர் ரவீந்திரன் அவர்களே, தெற்கு ஆப்பிரிக்காவிலிருந்து வந்திருக்கின்ற முன்னாள் துணை மேயர் மாண்புமிகு லோகி நாயுடு அவர்களே, ஆஸ்திரேலிய நாட்டிலிருந்து வந்திருக்கின்ற முன்னாள் துணை மேயர் மாண்புமிகு பாலேந்திரா அவர்களே, எங்களுடைய சட்டமன்றத்தில் எங்களை எல்லாம் கட்டி காத்து வருகின்ற மாண்புமிகு புதுச்சேரி மாநில துணை சபாநாயகர் சிவக்கொழுந்து அவர்களே, இந்த மாநாட்டினுடைய கதாநாயகன் நம்ம எல்லாம் ஒருங்கிணைத்து உலகத்தில் உள்ள தமிழ் முதலீட்டாளர்களை எல்லாம் சிறிய மாநிலமான எங்களுடைய புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்திற்கு வந்து நாங்கள் உங்களை சந்திக்கின்ற வாய்ப்பு ஏற்படுத்தது மட்டுமல்லாமல் எங்களுக்கு மிக பெரிய வாய்ப்பை கொடுத்து புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்தில் பொருளாதார வளர்ச்சி ஏற்பட வேண்டும், புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்தில் பல துறைகளிலே வளர்ச்சி ஏற்பட வேண்டும், மற்ற நாட்டில் இருக்கிறவர்களும் புதுச்சேரி மாநிலம் என்ன என்பதை தெரிந்து கொள்வதற்கு வழிவகை காட்டியிருக்கின்ற மரியாதைக்குரிய சகோதரர், இந்த மாநாட்டினுடைய காரணகர்த்தாக இருக்கின்ற மரியாதைக்குரிய VRS சம்பத் அவர்களே, புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்துடைய தலைமைச் செயலாளர் மரியாதைக்குரிய அஸ்வினிகுமார் அவர்களே, இன்னொருவரை சொல்ல மறந்துவிட்டேன், நம்முடைய கயானா நாட்டினுடைய மாண்புமிகு பிரதமருடைய துணைவியார் அவர்களே, பல நாடுகளிலிருந்து வந்திருக்கின்ற, பல மாநிலங்களிலிருந்து வந்திருக்கின்ற அருமை பெரியவர்களே, நண்பர்களே, சகோதரர்களே, சகோதரிகளே, முதலாக எங்களுடைய புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்திற்கு வருகை தந்த உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் புதுச்சேரி மாநில மக்களின் சார்பாக என்னுடைய நன்றியையும் வாழ்த்துக்களையும் முதலில் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். புதுச்சேரி மாநிலம் சிறிய மாநிலம், 14 லட்சம் மக்கள் தொகை உள்ள ஒரு சிறிய மாநிலம். கடந்த காலங்களில் புதுச்சேரி என்றால் யாருக்கும் தெரியாது இருந்த ஒரு காலம். ஆனால் இப்போது புதுச்சேரி என்பது பிரெஞ்சு நாடு மட்டுமல்ல, மலேசிய நாடு மட்டுமல்ல, சிங்கப்பூர், துபாய், அபுதாபி, அது மட்டுமல்லாமல் பக்கத்தில் இருக்கிற ஸ்ரீலங்கா, பிரெஞ்சு நாடு, மொரீஷியஸ் போன்ற நாடுகளில் இருந்து நிறைய சுற்றுலா பயணிகள் எங்களுடைய மாநிலத்துக்கு வந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். கடந்த 2 ஆண்டுகளாக நாங்கள் ஆட்சிக்கு வந்து புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்தில் நாங்கள் ஆட்சி அமைத்த பிறகு கடந்த 2 ஆண்டுகளாக புதுச்சேரி மாநிலத்தில் வளர்ச்சியை ஏற்படுத்த வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக நானும் மாண்புமிகு அமைச்சர் பெருமக்களும் தொடர்ந்து முயற்சி செய்து ஓரளவு அதில் வெற்றி கண்டிருக்கிறோம். In fact, I am grateful to Dr. Sampath when he came and discussed with me for the purpose of organizing this conference of a huge magnitude. I told him we don't have sufficient infrastructure, but he gave me the encouragement. He told me that if your government gives us the required support, I will organize. That assurance he gave me. Today, we are seeing really the result of the assurance that has been given by Dr. Sampath in this conference. In fact, it was our dream a dream of my Honorable Minister Shahjahan, myself, and our Honorable Deputy Speaker, that we should organize a huge conference from the government side. Now I can understand even an organization can organize a bigger conference more than a government itself. We are witnessing today because Dr. Sampath invited me a few years back when I was a Minister in Government of India. I was in Parliament for 23 years. I was Member of Parliament. I was Minister in Government of India. I was Minister in Prime Minister's office. At that time, Dr. Sampath met me, he told me that we are organizing the World Tamil Investors Meet in Dubai. He asked me to come and address the gathering. Initially, I was reluctant. But I told him that I will come because most of the leaders from Tamil Nadu, the political leaders, they went and addressed a conference in Dubai. Therefore, I agreed. When I went there, Dr. Sampath will acknowledge it. It was a huge conference. And after that, few investors came to Pondicherry from that region for the purpose of setting up of industries. Not only that, the last year when he was organizing another World Tamil Investors Meet in South Africa, he was pressurizing me to come. Because being politicians, you know, we don't have the time. When we move out of our place, there are pulls and pressures. Therefore, I had to remain here. Then I told our Honorable Deputy Speaker Sivakaran Sahab to go and attend that conference. And that conference was also very successful. And this is the 5th conference where I am attending today. And the purpose of organizing this conference is to meet each other, understand each other, understand the economy of your country and our place, our country and also our state, and explore the possibility of investment. In fact, when we came to power 2 years back, we had taken a very strong step, our government. We said that the law and order is our first priority. And we ensure that the people of Pondicherry live in peace. They should get protection. Before that, I will tell you one more conference which I attended because Dr. Meeswara is there, otherwise he will be angry with me. He invited me for Indo-Malaysia Chamber of Commerce, the conference in Malaysia. I went there, I addressed the conference also. I had an occasion to meet the Honorable Farmer, the Prime Minister of Malaysia at that time. And he organized it very well. And several times I invited him to come to Pondicherry, but he was telling me today he had an occasion to come because Dr. Sampath invited him. And our Pondicherry asked why we wanted law and order to be maintained. In fact, I would like to tell you, the chief ministers were invited in a NRI conference in Bangalore 2 years back. The Honorable Prime Minister addressed the gathering. After that, chief ministers were asked to speak. The chief minister of Maharashtra, chief minister of Chhattisgarh, the chief minister of Karnataka, the chief minister of the Uttar Pradesh, and chief minister of Delhi, all of them came. And in the meet, I gave a challenge to the chief ministers of Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and other states. I give guarantee to the investors who are here, about 8,000 investors were there at that time. I told them I give guarantee for them. When they come and set up industry in our state, we will give all the support, all protection for the investors. The Karnataka Chief Minister did not give guarantee. The Maharashtra Chief Minister did not give guarantee. Thereafter, the Honorable Minister, Manu Shahjahan was also there with me. The investors from several states, when we were sitting in our Pondicherry pavilion, they came and met us that they would like to come and invest in Pondicherry. Why I am telling this? The climate should be prepared in such a way that the investors come and they invest for the purpose of starting industries in a particular region. Because after we came to power, we announced a new industrial policy. We will give a copy of that industrial policy to you. When compared to the industrial policy of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, our industrial policy is much more attractive. But we don't have sufficient land. We have limited land. Land bank is there. But we told them that in Pondicherry, because we have got a very good sea beach, the tourism infrastructure can be developed. Non-polluting industries can be developed. A lot of people are coming, they are coming and talking to me from the adjoining countries. And they wanted to invest in Pondicherry. The opportunities are coming now. Because a few days back, the industrialists from Tamil Nadu, they came. In back, they wanted to shift here to Pondicherry from already industrial estate. Therefore, the opportunities are there. In fact, for 3 days in a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the tourists coming from all over the country and also abroad, 40% of the tourists are coming to Pondicherry from Karnataka, 20% from the other countries. The remaining 40% are coming from the other states of our country. Therefore, the rooms are not available. We are trying to create the tourism infrastructure. And in fact, from our government side, we would like to start the entertainment park, the water sports, because we have, in the tourism, we have got 3 categories. Leisure tourism, pilgrim tourism, and preserving the heritage tourism. 3 types of tourism we have in Pondicherry. Though it is a small territory, I used to tell people, because we have the long history of the French, Indo-French culture. I would like to remind all of you, when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, when Pondicherry met with the Indian government, Jawaharlal Nehru told the parliament, the first prime minister of this country, he told in the parliament, Pondicherry is window of French culture. It is a combination of our Indian and French culture. You can see French buildings in Pondicherry when you go to the city area. The beautiful sea beach, Aurobindo Ashram, Auroville, the pilgrim centers, the shopping complex. The people will have variety of food here in Pondicherry. Whether it is Chinese, whether it is Italian, whether it is French, whether it is Korean, we can get variety of food in Pondicherry. It's a cosmopolitan city, because when you see the total land mass is very limited. But the urban population is 60% in Pondicherry, rural is only 40%. And therefore, because I have a lot of things to say, within 2 years we made several milestones we have achieved in Pondicherry state. Number 1, the India Today had a survey. India Today had a survey, and they found among the 17 smaller states, Pondicherry is number 1 in law and order, tourism, organic farming, police reform and administrative reform. Last year, the award was given to me by none other than the Honorable Finance Minister of India, Sri Arun Jaitley. Therefore, we have got a very beautiful city. You can see and you can witness yourself there. We have got a very good culture. The people are peace-loving, sober, and we are carving for creating infrastructure and developing Puducherry state, because now we are developing the smart city there in Puducherry. Smart city development project is going on. Drinking water scheme we are bringing there. Smart city project itself is about 1,850 crores. Then organ transplant center of Jawaharlal Nehru Post-Matric Medical Research Institute is coming up in Puducherry, which is unique in the world, in India. I'm not telling well, in India. The JIPMER is going to have a branch here, because today I came little late. My apologies to all of you, because the Honorable Vice President was here to address the convocation in the JIPMER Institute. Otherwise I would have come little early. Because it's a growing place, developing city, peaceful place, people. Because whenever I meet people in Delhi, because of my contact in Delhi, I used to tell them, though our Puducherry is very small, we are all large-hearted people. We take care of everybody. We used to respect each other. We adopt the culture of every country, and we take best out of it. This is our values and ethos of our state, because the people from all walks of life, from all over the world, from different diaspora have come. Therefore, you can yourself witness and see, and then you will enjoy your visit here in Puducherry, and we welcome you back after some time, so that you will be able to see the further development in our state. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.
I also take this opportunity for thanking Honorable Chief Minister of Pondicherry, Rabbi Narayanasamy sir, for taking us a full travel to Pondicherry with his words and for expressing the beauty of Pondicherry. Thank you so much, and all the best for your future endeavors, sir. Yes, sir.
Because our honorable friend was telling that, you know, some people have not seen Papua New Guinea. I had been to Papua New Guinea. As a speakers conference, I went there and I enjoyed my visit there.
It is good to hear. Thank you, sir. Now, it's time to inaugurate the 5th World Tamils Economic Conference 2018. ஐந்தாவது உலக தமிழர் பொருளாதார மாநாட்டினை துவக்கி வைக்கும் அந்த அற்புதமான தருணம் இந்த விழா மேடையில் அரங்கேற போகிறது. The Excellency has come all the way from Guyana. His Excellency Moses Veerasamy Nagamuttu, the Prime Minister of Guyana, and his beloved wife, beautiful wife Sita Nagamuttu ma'am. With the blessing and support of all the dignitaries, I request the Prime Minister of Guyana, His Excellency Moses Veerasamy Nagamuttu, and his wife, Mrs. Sita Nagamuttu, to light the lamp and inaugurate the conference, the 5th World Tamils Economic Conference 2018. The grand inauguration is going to begin. I request the Prime Minister of Guyana, His Excellency Moses Veerasamy Nagamuttu, and his wife, Mrs. Sita Nagamuttu, for lighting the lamp and inaugurating the conference with a huge applause. நல்ல ஒரு பலத்த கைத்தட்டல் தருமாறு கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். அனைத்து சிறப்பு அழைப்பாளர்கள் முன்னிலையிலும் நம்மளோட கயானா நாட்டில் இருந்து வருகை தந்துள்ள பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் His Excellency Mrs. Veerasamy Nagamuttu அவர்களும் அவரது துணைவியார் திருமதி சீதா நாகமுத்து அவர்களும் குத்துவிளக்கேற்றி நமது இந்த 5வது உலக தமிழர் பொருளாதார மாநாட்டினை துவக்கி வைத்துக் கொள்கிறார்கள். நல்ல ஒரு மங்களகரமான அற்புதமான தருணம் இந்த விழா மேடையில் அரங்கேறி கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இன்னொரு முறை உங்களது பலத்த கைத்தட்டலை நாங்கள் எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம். நன்றி. இன்னொரு முறை அனைத்து சிறப்பமைப்பாளர்களுக்கும் எங்களுடைய நன்றிகள். Thank you so much. I would like to thank all the dignitaries. So I request all of them to please be seated. I'd request the dignitaries to please be seated. நமது சிறப்பமைப்பாளர்களை தங்களது இருக்கையில் அமருமாறு கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம். Last but not the least, great parliamentarian, revolutionist. He's got the rights and he has fought for the rights for the depressed. He is the icon of Tamil moral courage and the first Tamilian to become the Prime Minister of Guyana, and his life is a lesson and moral for all the Tamilians. Now I take privilege to invite the one and only Prime Minister of Guyana, His Excellency Moses Veerasamy Nagamattu, to give away his beautiful speech for the gathering. Thank you so much.
Vanakkam. Thank you. I think the tribute that was paid to me just now is better paid to Madam Chair. As I was making my way from Guyana on Tuesday, I handed over the Prime Minister's chair to a girl for the second year to become Prime Minister for the day. The President handed over his seat also as President of Guyana for a day, because we believe in the empowerment of our girls, of our women, and I want to pay the first tribute to the lovely lady who chaired these proceedings so beautifully. Secondly, I'd like to pay compliments to Dr. Sampat. He's a genius, not only in terms of organization, but I've seen him today before this microphone, and as he was filibustering, I was trying to figure out if I had ever seen a politician as good as Dr. Sampat, and whether his filibuster would succeed in making a speech to last as long as it took the Chief Minister to get here. But more importantly, I developed a fear of Dr. Sampat. If ever I were to be fighting in court as a lawyer against him, I think he will charm the jurors to such an extent that they will beg him, don't proceed, I let your client go. Very persuasive, Dr. Sampat, and of course, having taken us this far today, I believe there are very few words remaining for me to say. I'd like to thank the Chief Minister, His Excellency Narayanasamy, for receiving me in Pondicherry. And when I saw him before the microphone also just now, not only was I impressed by someone who obviously is an experienced politician, a knowledgeable politician, but he also, like Dr. Sampat, drove that feeling in me that he is an awesome opponent if ever he became your opponent on the other side.
He's a fantastic orator. I was listening to him delivering his speech without a pause. Thank you for having us in Pondicherry. And just as I remarked just now that I had given up my seat as Prime Minister for a day, symbolically to a young lady, I also felt vindicated that I gave up the feature address to a young man, Vayapuri, His Excellency, the Acting President of Mauritius, for an extraordinary address that captured the essence of this movement. This is not a conference. Meeting for the 5th time, you have now become a movement that has brought together some of the finest investors, businessmen, entrepreneurs, call them what you will, innovators, thinkers, intellectuals, scholars, all with one thing in common, that you either are a Tamil or you have Tamil ancestry. And it shows that you are persons of worth. And this networking, meeting year after year, will become a massive movement where you could make a difference not only in Tamil Nadu, not only in Pondicherry and in southern India, but you could make a difference in the world. I came from a country where Tamils are perhaps less than 4% of the indentured laborers who went from southern India to Guyana within a British colony. And I can tell you that with 4% of the population, they produce the first Prime Minister of Tamil ancestry in Guyana. And perhaps, as Dr. Sampath said, an example in the world, and the young minister from Mauritius reminded us of the importance of moving a small island state into the world of IT as one of the fastest growing sectors of the economy. It takes brain power, intellectual power, and innovation to move into the digital age and to compete with the first worlds. This movement can do better than that. We could work with minorities around the world, wherever we are, and minorities can help us make a difference. I came from a country where 2 parties have dominated the country for 50 years since our independence. And by a token of opening up your arms wide and showing your heart to everyone, we were able for the first time in the history of Guyana to bring 6 political parties together into a coalition from every ethnicity in the country. And we won an election by bringing together minorities to form a common government for a united country. Here I have met people from all political parties in India, and they have all received me kindly, and my wife, and my daughter, my son-in-law, and our High Commissioner, Dr. David Pollard, who is here with us and based in Delhi. We are received by all parties as friends. And so today I want to say, in this movement that you call a Tamil movement, you could transform societies if you work with those who by themselves do not have the source of empowerment, which is cohesion, which is inclusion, which is to be able to make our differences the beauty of our life and not the enemy of our societies. And so that is what, in being honored today to share the platform with the distinguished presence of all great leaders in their own societies, former ministers, former mayors. It is also a story that I want to share. I know we're all hungry. We can live, in addition to words, we can live with some food now and then. So I'll be very brief. I have to share an experience with you. I visited Guadeloupe last year, and I went to a place where the French had a dungeon, a fortress. And in a tiny spot, I was shown the tomb, the collective tomb, perhaps of a number of indentured servants or laborers who had gone from Pondicherry to Guadeloupe. And as I looked at the names, I saw familiar names of people that I would have found in Guyana: Veera Sami, Narayana Sami, Ram Sami. And I left there with a heavy heart, having asked why were so many Tamils buried in a common place. And I was told that they were all rebellious. They fought the French in Guadeloupe, the French planters, in much the same way that Tamils in Guyana fought the British planters. And they were thrown out of the plantocracy, the plantations, and placed next to freed African slaves. The British might have thought that that was a disadvantage to disable the courageous Tamils, but the Tamils joined forces with the Africans, and they developed intercultural appreciation, inter-ethnic cooperation. They developed a relationship that later blossomed into the six-party coalition I spoke to earlier. But I also walked away from Guadeloupe with this feeling: how is it possible that in one place you have so many swamis being martyrs? And so the Tamils, of course, have produced swamis who died for great causes outside of their native India. And so, just as there are other places, perhaps within other nationalities, among other races, we are part of the rainbow coalition of the world. And our presence here today should imbue us in confidence that in the past we were victims of indentureship. We must turn indentureship into investment, and to invest in the economies that are complementary. You have the capital, we have the land, the fertile soil, we have the clean water, we have the fresh air, we have the resources that could accommodate your decision to go to all these countries that are populated, even in small numbers, by your relatives, who must now make partners. So this is my message to you today, that I am happy, delighted, and honored to be here.
And I did not intend to say I was grappling with my hunger and my throat and my jet lagness, not thinking I could say anything, because Guyana's High Commissioner is here, and I've asked for him to have sidebars with as many delegates as you could find here to tell them about the wonderful opportunities there are in Guyana for investment, a country that is on the cusp of developing its oil and gas resources. An estimated 4 billion barrels of oil have been discovered recently, and the door is wide open for investors to help us to build not only an oil and gas industry, which is new to us, but also to be able to make Guyana's land resources into the green state of the Caribbean, the green state of Latin America, the green state that is awaiting capital and technology to develop so that we can help to feed the world. Because in the last resort, we cannot depend on oil resources alone. We'll have to pursue the agenda of developing in a very unique way a country with 80% forests, virgin forests, into a model in the world. And you could make that happen, and you will be rewarded once you're an honest investor, once you obey the laws of the country, and once you are determined that you have to share the wealth that Guyana has to offer. Thank you for having us. I wish this conference great success, and I take great delight and pleasure in inaugurating this historic meeting in Pondicherry. Thank you. And the second word, Nandri.
That was indeed beautiful. I once again take this opportunity to thank the Prime Minister of Guyana, His Excellency Mrs. Veerasamy Nagamatu, for his message, and his wife, Mrs. Sita Nagamatu, for coming all the way from Guyana and inaugurating our conference.